Hello everybody and welcome to another video of R&R Partners. Today we're going to talk about a very requested topic on our channel, opening a bank account in Romania. So make sure to stay up until the very end for some very useful personalized tips on this subject. So let's just jump right into it. One of the first things we are asked very frequently about opening a bank account in Romania is who can open such a bank account. Does it matter that I'm not a Romanian citizen? That maybe I'm not an EU citizen altogether? And the answer is no, it doesn't matter. Because anybody can open a bank account in Romania, even if they are not Romanian citizens or even European citizens. There are no national regulations regarding this subject or any such restrictions. However, do note that specific banks can have specific internal policies, and if you come from certain countries, especially countries that are in conflict zones, usually in any international trouble of any way, you might know what I mean, you could have a harder time opening such a bank account, or they might delay the process so much that in the end you might even give up. From our experience, we have some sort of issues of opening bank accounts in Romania for citizens of countries like Iran, Iraq, Russia, Belarus, even Ukraine. But for most of them, in the end, we managed to figure out a situation and find a local bank that will open them a bank account. So what you must remember is that in most cases, eventually a solution can be found. The second question that we get quite often about opening a bank account in Romania is when should I open this kind of bank account? 1. Individuals who come to Romania and want to open bank accounts, or companies. For individuals, it is pretty clear. Usually, they need to open bank accounts when they receive funds in Romania, which is mostly money that they get from their jobs, or if they have a business abroad and they pay themselves as company founders or directors. But when you talk about companies in Romania, because a Romanian entity can also be set up by a person from another country, so make sure to check out our video about opening a Romanian entity in 2022, which we will link somewhere here in a card. So when we talk about Romanian companies and their bank accounts in Romania, the moment that you open a bank account is after the company is actually set up. In the past, the regulations were quite different, and when you wanted to set up a Romanian entity, you needed to have an account beforehand with at least 200 RON, which was more or less 40 or 50 euros, in order to have that business legally incorporated. That used to be the minimum share capital for a Romanian limited liability company. But as I mentioned, those were the old regulations, because today you can open a Romanian entity even without proving that you have any sort of funds in your bank account. So first, you should just worry about opening the Romanian company itself, and only later about who you will be doing banking with. So if you want to open a Romanian entity, and even later when you want a banking introduction in order to get a business bank account, you can book a consultation with us either by video call or in person at our office in Bucharest and chat more on this subject. And coming back to the subject of our video, another thing we are asked very often about clients and potential clients is, where should I open this bank account? Usually, if our clients are from abroad and they want to open a Romanian entity, but they do not stay in Romania that much, our advice is to open this bank account in our capital, in Bucharest, because Bucharest is the city most exposed to expats. Banking clerks usually speak English, and as regards our own clients, it's easier for us to take them to a bank with which we collaborated well in the past and facilitate the process with a banking introduction. And if in the future you want to settle in Romania, and maybe in another city, not in Bucharest, do not worry, most banks have branches all across Romania. So even if you open your bank account in Bucharest, but you end up living in Cluj-Napoca, Constanța, Iași, Timișoara, who knows, any other Romanian city, you can just ask for your file to be handled by a banking clerk from that specific city. And that brings us to another very important thing. Many people are concerned about what bank they should choose. This is a very personal decision. We have found that people sometimes choose their banks on many factors like proximity to the place where they live. This happens especially with Romanians, not so much with expats. I have many friends who just chose the bank because that bank has a branch close to the place where they live or the place where they work. But in my opinion, that is not the best way to choose actually a bank. You should rather watch out about the banking fees and how easy is that bank to work with. And when it comes to our expat and foreign clients, finding a bank that you can easily work with is usually more important than the banking fees, which in Romania are quite low. And a couple of banks that we specifically recommend are ING and BRD. ING is an international bank that has always been very expat friendly, and BRD comes from BRD Société Générale, so also an international bank, and we have rarely had problems with these banks when our clients chose them. However, there are other banks in Romania, which we would rather not name in this video, that we chose to work with in the past, and we had all sorts of issues from clients having their bank accounts closed overnight from various reasons, or banks even being reluctant to work with our clients just because they were from other countries or because they had businesses that were just developing, and these banks would rather work with Romanian entities or individuals, or companies with foreign shareholders, but rather companies that were well established and older on the market. Another problem with foreigners is that many banks, when you want to open an individual bank account, will ask you to show the residence in Romania, otherwise known as CNP. So people who did not obtain Romanian CNP or residency permit could not open bank accounts. If you want to find out more about the Romanian CNP, make sure to check out our video about obtaining Romanian residency, which we will link here in a card. And as I mentioned from the beginning, we would like to end the video with a couple of useful tips when opening your Romanian bank account. One of the problems that you might have when opening a bank account in Romania is that if something happens, for example, you lose access to your account because you forgot the password, because of technical difficulties, because why not, it can happen, you should have somebody from the bank as a contact. Because, as we know, calling the bank hotline can take quite a lot of time and you could be put on hold while you are struggling to have access to your own banking details. So our first useful tip is, when you open your bank account, make sure to get a card, or the business card, from your banking clerk, because that person will be the one who handles your account, and the card might also have their direct number and email, of course. So if something happens, you can email them or call them directly. And our second tip when opening a bank account in Romania, although it might sound kind of funny, it happens quite often, is to not abandon your bank account. We had people who thought they would move to Romania but then delayed their plans. It happens for various reasons. For example, with the COVID situation, some people were not able to come in Romania and stay here when they wanted, but rather after 1 year or 2 years, who knows. So they first came here and opened a bank account, then they didn't use it for half a year or even more. So please, our tip is never to do that. There are many banks that will just close your bank account, sometimes without even a prior notice, if you have no transactions in your account. So, bottom line, if you think you will not use that account that much, make at least a few transactions, like send some money to your Romanian bank account or from that account, in order to show your bank that your account is still active. I would encourage you to make that sort of transactions at least every 3 months, because many banks might delete your account if it is not active for at least 6 months. So doing something in your account, sending money, receiving money every 3 months will just do the trick. So that is about it for today regarding opening a bank account in Romania. If you have any questions about this subject, maybe something we did not have time or didn't think about talking in this video, you can leave a question in a comment down below. Or if it's a more complicated issue, you can of course book a legal consultation with us, either by video call or in person at our office in Bucharest. And don't forget to follow us on social media and keep up with our latest content. We are quite active on Facebook and Instagram. So, up until next time, have a lovely day. Bye bye.